Good morning, Brian Fanzo here. I know you're probably thinking, oh God, another webinar. And I'm like, oh no, dogs barking in the background. But I think as we look at what we consider another webinar, we have to not only embrace the fact that virtual provides us with unlimited opportunities, but really it gives us a 360 view and a 360-degree option for everything that we're doing. And so as we push forward, as we look at this opportunity, I'm here to talk to you about how do we leverage this 360-degree virtual environment and not take what we do offline and put it online, rather reinvent the virtual experience. So you're not in for just another webinar, you're in for a 15-minute blast of information on how we can truly reinvent virtual experiences. And during these troubled times, I wanted to give you a little bit of taste of Virginia, and well, let's head up to my office and get this thing started. But before we do that, here is a quick little beautiful Virginia before we head back into my office. Welcome inside. We can't talk 360 experiences without giving you a little taste of 360, but now that we're in my office, let's get this thing started. Whoa, we are here. Excited to be here. Hope you guys are as excited as I am. We're gonna leverage this cool little overlay and we're gonna talk about creating virtual experiences, really trying to bring you along on the journey, let you guys understand, hey, well, this is what I got going on. Hopefully you guys are as excited as I am. And we're gonna jump into it because part of this whole conversation is how do we make all of this happen? And so that first one, what we're gonna jump into is captivate, right? How do we captivate our audience? And we captivate them by making sure that we invest and understand the importance of that first 60 seconds. Not only that video that you guys just watched, but how do we set the tone? How do we get them excited, engaged, even intrigue them to want to see what's coming next? And especially in this virtual world where, let's face it, we've been in this idea where when we think about a virtual experience, oftentimes we think about a webinar with slides and we'll put it in the tab, the 137th tab in the background, and we'll just kind of go through the motions. There's a reason that webinars and what we've been doing virtually haven't even replaced or touched the value that we do offline. And it's really just because we haven't rethought this entire experience. And so that first 60 seconds is important. We need to make sure we introduce, set expectations. We give people a reason to tune in, something that they're excited about, but we also set the tone with emotion and, not only the emotion, but like, hey, this is the passion you have coming to you. And then we're going to say, let's ride, right? And as we tell them, let's ride, we're going to make sure we jump into the next part. And this is where we're going to initiate their engagement. We're going to initiate their expectations, and we're going to let them realize, and this is something that we want to do, is that we're going to say, this is a shared responsibility, right? If you want engagement, you want interactivity, you have to make sure that people feel as though they're part of the process, they're part of the event, and that the event is only as good as you, right? So not only do we have to make sure we tell them that, we also have to start off, hey, I would love to know where everybody that's watching right now is from. Go ahead and throw in the state that you're coming from, or maybe you're international. And, I'd love to also hear where's somewhere you wish you were at right now traveling if you weren't locked down, right? Asking that kind of double question, which is called a paired question, giving people two questions to answer. Both of them they could answer, but someone's like, oh, I don't want to share where I'm living. Oh, I'll tell them where I'm on vacation, right? Giving them that multiple option. And then once you see them replying and engaging, now it's your job to take it a step further. And when you're taking it a step further, now this is where you have to not only leverage the visuals and the things that are out there, but you want to connect with people, right? You even want to make sure that what you're including in your presentation and everything you have going on is not only tied to the success, but also, has them, feeling as though that they're coming around on this journey with you, right? So that's an extremely important pass. So we talked about captivating, we talked about initiating that conversation, and now we need to accelerate it. And let's face it, I talk fast, I move a lot, so this one to me is exciting. But it also means we need to bring people along. We need to change up the focus. I've divided my keynote, my 60-minute keynote into 6-minute chunks, so that every 6 minutes I can change maybe the type of overlay. Maybe I bring in a video. Maybe I bring in a guest to speak. Maybe I use a second camera that I have, for my overhead camera, or really just changing up that format. And and I think it's important to have these 3 pieces of video content, right? We're living in virtual space and video is powerful, but just because we have live video doesn't mean we should be live. And also, just because live video is risky doesn't mean we shouldn't do live video, right? And so it's about understanding that balance, understanding the importance of each. And so live video is great for participatory content, right? If I'm reading your questions and I'm allowing you to ask me things, that is where that live video component is extremely valuable. But if you're not going to be interacting with the audience and you're just going to be delivering a presentation, you're going to be going through your content, then it probably shouldn't be live, right? It's important to pre-record that. And what pre-record is versus produced is pre-record just means, it has light editing. Maybe you fix the lighting, maybe you tweak the audio, maybe you cut off the end, but it's still this kind of delivery, but it allows you to have multiple takes. It allows you not to have the risk of live video. And then maybe after you have the pre-recorded content, you bring on the live component right afterwards for the Q&A, maybe for a panel, maybe to break people into workshops. And then, of course, the third type of video is produced video. And the value of produced video is not only to add B-roll and music and some of that documentary style content, but it's also, it allows you to give use cases or proof of concept. It allows you, I love using it to segue between different portions of my talk. Or when I'm hosting a virtual event, it's great to segue between guests, right? So, hey, thanks so much, for this person coming on and speaking. And before we get into our next speaker, I want you guys to watch this. And then you roll a pre-recorded, video. Maybe it's 30 seconds, 90 seconds that has some upbeat. Maybe it changes the dynamic. Maybe it starts to do the intro. And so, having a virtual experience needs to include all three of those pieces. And then last one there is make sure that the colors you're using, the visuals, the fonts, the shapes, all of them are done for a reason, right? Just like, like they stopped using red, markers on school papers because red elicited a different emotion than maybe blue or black when someone is grading a piece of paper. And those things are important in the visual, in the virtual space, because we have the ability to kind of build this entire concept. And understanding emotions, understanding how to fill the frame, understanding the dynamics, these are all things that we naturally do offline, but it's something that we need to make sure we incorporate online, because that is truly the only way that we're going to be able to make this, this move forward and connect the dots as we go. And so the next part we have here is activate. With activate, what that really means is we need to make sure that we're activating not only the emotions, but we're activating the different types of actions that we want to as a speaker. And so this could be, using polls or Q&A. This could also be, making sure that we're giving people kind of the journey. We're making sure that they can come along with us, that they understand the different, components of what we're doing. It's also important to make sure that we're connecting in a positive, optimistic way, because not only is the world full of bad news and fake news and everything that we have going on, but the idea of feeling a part of something, right? That exclusivity. We want to be more connected to people that are positive and optimistic, but we also want to feel as though that something is not so wrong, we're not so bad, right? And so we have a tendency sometimes with virtual experiences to be like, hey, this is what's happening, and we're almost like keyboard warriors, right? We're a little bit more bold, we're a little bit more brash, we're a little bit more direct. And that doesn't always work, depending on what your, elicited emotion that you want to have. And then, of course, it's important to tease out, to create a little bit of FOMO. When I start this presentation, I always tell people before I put the overlays up, like, you're gonna see overlays and a presentation like you've never seen before in every webinar you've been at, right? And of course they're like, yeah, right, sure, whatever. But they're gonna stick around because they want to see, they want to prove me wrong. And then I show something up there. So that's an important characteristic of this kind of journey. And then the last one here, which is the fourth one that we're gonna kind of walk through, is just this idea of understanding how to give people access to you as the presenter while shining the spotlight on them, right? So we have to kind of roll with not only what the world is around us, but understand when how to give presentations, which means for some it's sticky notes. Like I have sticky notes underneath my monitor here that allow me to come along on the journey for all of the different comments that I need to make sure that I hit. Some people like to script, some people like to rehearse. You also want to make sure you own your environment, right? You want to make sure that the different things that you have. Right? For me, I even have an overhead camera that I have included, right? Being able to leverage the world around you. And then probably one of the most important aspects here is being able and willing to roll with the punches. in the virtual space, and this is just like as a speaker, nobody is showing up hoping that you fail or that you're a train wreck. Actually, it's the opposite. We want you to give the best presentation you've ever given because we're giving you our time. And so if something goes wrong, just owning it, right? Like, oh, I'm sorry this happened, or hey, I didn't realize that my audio wasn't on, give me a minute. But if we become flustered and we make excuses or we blame others or we try to eject, that emotion is conveyed so easily that you'll end up losing the audience. And so that is an important aspect of when you're not only building that rapport in the virtual space, but really connecting these dots kind of beyond the screen. Because remember, that's part of our goal here is to shrink the distance between us and our community. So that's kind of those characteristics. And this is the recipe that I believe is kind of like that 4 steps, the 4 components to making a dynamic virtual experience that not only keeps your audience engaged, but it educates them on what their role is. It helps manage the expectations and stand out from the other types of virtual presentations. It allows people to stay engaged, not become as distracted, feel like they're a part of what you're doing. It also gives you confidence and rapport. And I'll tell you, my mantra, the book that I just finished writing is called Press the Damn Button. Video is scary. Virtual can be overwhelming. There's so many different things that are going on. But if you take a step back, if you understand the different components and the different ways that you can leverage them, and you be strategic, and you can also leverage people like an event producer. There's remote event producers that can actually do a lot of the graphics and the animations for you. They can even control it so you can focus on the video. But it's important to kind of take those baby steps to press the damn button, because I know it's scary, I know it's difficult, but if you're able to kind of grasp these 4 concepts, I do believe we're going to transform virtual experiences. And because, as I said, it's not about taking what we do offline and putting it online. If we do that, it's never going to be as valuable. But if we take the value that we provide offline and redesign it to present it in a virtual experience format like I've done here, not only will it amplify what we do offline, but it will allow us to spend more time doing things that we like, adding more enriched content. And I truly do believe it'll give us that 360-degree experience, not only for us, the presenter, not only for us, the event manager, but also for the attendee, giving them a choose your own adventure, 360 degrees of options, keeping their attention, and hopefully standing out from the noise. My name is Brian Fanzo, iSocial Fans on the social media side. I'm the founder of iSocial Fans, and you can, if you want more information on virtual events, virtual presentations, you can go ahead and check me out over there at brianfanzo.com. With that, I challenge you. Stand out from the noise, let people in, give them access to you so that you can shine the spotlight on them. And then last but not least, press the damn button and let's embrace virtual experiences. Cheers, my friends.